welcome to the Hallmark podcast. And today we are delighted to bring with you another All Star interview. And we are talking with Taiana Tully, and she's the star of the new movie Love for Real, and it's coming out this weekend. We're so excited about the new film. Thank you so much, Taiana, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so what we like to do is we like to have our guests share with us, how did you get inspired to become an actor?
Wow. Well, my family are all entertainers themselves. So my family owns a Tahitian dance company, and my mother was a dancer. My father's a musician. So I was kind of born into performing, and I did theater at a young age and performed professionally as a hula and Tahitian dancer since I was 7 years old. So I loved that aspect of performing and telling a story and sharing with an audience and all of that. And there was something about movies and TV that really inspired me in a different way. And even theater shows and stuff like that. Actually, my uncle, my mom's brother, is an actor, and he's maybe like 6 years older than me. So he's pretty close in age. And I would watch his shows growing up, and that also really inspired me. So yeah, it was kind of something that's always been there. I've always been interested in being an actor. And yeah, I really decided that I wanted to pursue it professionally in high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So did you grow up in Hawaii? Which island did you grow up on?
Oahu. I grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii. Yeah.
Nice. That's great. Do you get tired of like vacationers and tourists and stuff like that? I love Hawaii so much. It's one of my favorite places in the whole world. But you kind of do like, oh, the tourists.
No, I just look like that because right now in particular, because everything's been closed down for so long, there's just been a huge influx of tourists. So I feel like it's busier than it's ever been before, but I mean, we welcome tourists as long as they're respectful of our culture, because culture is really big to us here. So as long as you're respectful and you appreciate our culture, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, I think you're our first interview from Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken. It said on your IMDb that you did hula and Tahitian dance growing up, and so that must have been a great experience.
Yeah, especially because my mom did it, my family all does it. My grandmother's from Tahiti, so it's kind of just in my bones. And as soon as I could walk, they were putting a Tahitian costume on me and telling me to dance. So yeah, it's something that's really dear to my heart, and it's one of my passions as well.
Great. So what was quarantine like for you? And you're already on an island, but then you have to shelter in place. What was that like?
Actually, I know that a lot of people have had it worse than we have here, just because we have the sun. And I was at my mother's house, so I was able to just go outside and lay on the front yard and just be in the sun and at least be happy that way. It was quite an interesting experience though here, because there is so many tourists all the time, but particularly during that time of sheltering in place, all of the streets of Waikiki were empty, and it was so surreal because I don't know if it has ever been that way. And it kind of gave the ocean and environment some space and time to recover, which was really beautiful. You could see the reefs reviving and stuff. So that was really neat.
That's really cool. Yeah, I would love to see like Waikiki and see the reef and how it's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how it is now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people now.
Do you have a favorite beach on Oahu?
A favorite beach? Ooh. I love Lanikai Beach, but it is getting very busy. But I like it because the sand is very fine, whereas like other beaches, they're like grains, but there at Lanikai, it's almost like powder. So it feels really nice on your feet.
Yeah, that's great. I think Waimea Bay is probably my favorite, but the waves can be really strong.
Yeah, especially during the winter time. They're huge.
Yeah, the earliest I've been is in April. I went once in April, and it was still pretty 100%. Strong.
Wow. But the summer is the best time to go.
Yeah. I've been in May and I've been in June. It's been a long time. I haven't been to Hawaii for a decade, but I do love it. It's so beautiful there.
How many times have you been here?
I've been here 4. I've been there 4 times.
Oh, cool.
So I've been very
and only
blessed.
Oahu, or have you seen the other islands too?
I was in Maui just for 1 day, so it doesn't really count. But yeah, just Oahu. My grandparents used to have a house on the North Shore, and yeah, so that was really amazing.
Yeah, North Shore is beautiful.
Love it there so much.
Cool. You'll have to
Yeah.
check out the other islands too.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of fun that they've done now 2 movies in Hawaii just this last season, because now this, and then they did You Had
You
Me
Had
at
Me at
Aloha.
Aloha. Yeah.
That's fun.
That's really cool. Yeah, I had a few friends in that one. That's
Oh,
awesome.
really?
I'm glad that they're coming here to Hawaii to showcase the beauty here. I think it's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah. It's so great. It's my like if I'm it's my and it's I feel like it's so cheesy to say, but it really is like my place when I'm feeling stressed. And I love the
Yeah.
ocean so much just in general, but
Mhm. Do you have ocean where you are?
no, I live in Utah. I'm landlocked, which is I don't know why I
Oh.
live here. But I did get
But
to go
Utah's
to the
also
ocean.
very beautiful. I have family in Utah.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Did you do any like quarantine baking or anything like that? I mean, I guess you probably don't want to get the house all hot there in Hawaii.
I did. I made some banana bread, some
Okay.
cookies. Yeah. Went through the whole TikTok quarantine baking phase.
Mhm.
How about you?
I didn't do too much, but I did do more just like general cooking. I've never been that good at baking, but I did
Wow.
ride the sourdough train like so many
Oh,
people, but
sourdough.
it's overwhelming.
Yeah, I give you props. Bread is a lot because of the whole waiting game.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm not very patient, so
No.
it's harder for me to make bread. But
Me either.
yeah.
But I did start doing puzzles for the first time in my life. I had never done like those big, like 1,000-piece puzzles or whatever.
Yeah.
And finally over New Year's, my friend brought some over and I'm like, this is actually fun.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
quarantine is the time to do puzzles.
Right.
It's the perfect time.
So the casting was there like a casting call in Hawaii for this film for Love for Real?
I don't think there was an open casting call here. I know that the casting director had reached out to agents individually, and the agencies just sent over their options or who they felt were the best fit for that breakdown. So I think it was more of like a private thing.
Okay. When you got the part, did you like freak out? Were you so excited?
Oh my God, yeah. Of course I freaked out. Yeah. Because for people in Hawaii or actors in Hawaii to have these kind of opportunities, it's very slim. So yeah, to even have the opportunity to audition in the first place was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And so I really didn't think that I would get it when I auditioned. I was like, I'm just gonna have fun with it. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And here we are.
If you watched like Hallmark movies, or would you say you're a fan of Hallmark movies? You kind of know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Particularly Christmas movies.
Since you live in Hawaii, would you want to vacation someplace cold? Or do you
happy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I think of any place that I'd want to vacation to just for the cold, I think it would be either New York or Utah. Yeah, I love New York, especially when it's like all cold and cozy, and when there's Broadway open. It's such a fun experience.
You sing?
I do.
Oh?
I mean, I've trained in musical theater and like classical styles and stuff like that. And my dad's a musician. Like all of my family sing and stuff like that. So I'm a little more shy when it comes to singing, just because I grew up with critiques so intensely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sing.
Well, we have a dream of someday having a Hallmark musical. So we'll have to add you to the list, because it would just work so well, because it's Christmas music, Christmas carols, it's part of music. I mean, I just feel like it's such a part of the season that I think it would do so well. It would get such good ratings.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great idea. Who do we need to talk to? Let's make it happen. That'd be so much fun.
Call me up, Hallmark. You're listening. I'll be executive producer.
Perfect.
But yeah, I'm with you. I love musical theater, and I've been so sad with Broadway being closed. Even though I didn't have any trips to New York planned last year, it was just like the knowledge that it was closed made me so sad.
Oh yeah, and the knowledge of all of these actors on Broadway who are so talented but are without their livelihood and without their jobs, it just broke my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many artists were out, especially because as artists, you're often an independent contractor, so that's a little harder with unemployment and things like that. So a lot of artists struggled during this past year. But I'm glad things are picking up now. It's starting to become more normal, I heard.
Me too. I've been trying to go here in Utah, go to as many local shows as possible. I made it my goal for the summer to go to as much live theater, support the arts, because it was brutal. It was a tough year, that's for sure.
Oh man. What kind of shows are over there? Or what are your favorite shows?
I mean, Les Mis has always been my favorite. Ever since I was in high school, I would listen to the 10th anniversary concert over and over and over and over again.
Yes, with Sierra Bogus? Or no, I'm thinking Phantom.
Oh, with Leah Salong and
Leah Salonga, yes.
Yeah. And it was incredible. Colm Wilkinson, of course, and just that whole original cast. And I went to see it it was funny, we got the choice of whether we would go to Cats or go to Les Mis. I think the correct choice, Les Mis.
Yes, very good. I mean, no hate against Cats, but I love Les Mis.
That's right. So that's one of my favorites. I also love The Music Man. That's one of my favorite old school musicals.
I've never actually seen Music Man, but I know of it.
Yeah, it's really good. You should check it out. It's just got such a heart to it of the kind of there's nobody's a lost cause. Is one of my I love Christmas Carol. I have that whole theme of nobody. You could be a swindler like Harold Hill. You could be a curmudgeon like Ebenezer Scrooge, and there's always hope for redemption, and I love that. And so I love Music Man. Yeah, that one's one of my favorites. And I don't know, there's just so many. I love Hamilton. I mean, everyone loves Hamilton.
Yeah.
What about you?
I got to see Hamilton on Broadway. That was cool with the original cast. Yeah, it was a really powerful experience. Yeah. And also, before we move on, I actually played Eponine in college.
No way.
So that's funny that you said that. Gosh. But I think my range was a little more Cosette, but they're trying to push my mix a little more. So they cast me as Eponine. But some experience. Yeah.
Wow. That's dream role. I mean, both of those roles, Eponine and Eponine and Fantine are dream roles.
I would love to play Fantine.
Yeah. Yeah. I just saw Guys and Dolls here locally, and it was so good. I love that show.
I love that show. I saw it on West End in London. Oh my gosh, I want to tell you my favorite musical, but knowing that you're from Utah and that you have a lot of Utah listeners, I'm excited to hear what your response is. Yeah. But it's the Book of Mormon.
That's your favorite? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually never seen it. I've listened to some of the music, but it definitely, I understand the appeal. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just think it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I've seen it when it toured to Honolulu and then also on Broadway.
They don't ever really make them seem like bad people.
Yeah.
In the musical, what I've heard at least. So that
I think it's very tastefully done, but it's very subjective. So yeah.
We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
There's nothing like sitting, as much as I love movies, there's nothing like sitting down for a live theater. and
I know.
Oh, it's so great. I love
It's
it so much.
definitely a different energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you watch The Bachelor? Was that something that you connected with in your character for this
Yes,
movie? Yes.
I do. I love The Bachelor. I haven't seen this current season with Katie, but yeah, I watched the last one, the last couple ones, and it's entertaining. It's very entertaining. How about you? Do you
Yeah.
watch The Bachelor?
I don't, but I kind of hear about it enough from my friends that I feel like I sort of know. And then we also have one of my friends, Haley Strong. We have done a number of different podcasts together where we talk about reality TV, and so she's talked about it. And I feel like I know kind of enough to sort of know what's going on in the show. But but yeah, I think that it's really funny your character with her whole like her whole predictions and fantasy league and everything that she does at the beginning of the movie.
She's so into it. It's so funny when we were filming that part, I was actually writing stuff down, like just as my character, just to have it. And in between takes when they're setting up and stuff. And at the end, the director was like, oh my God, you really wrote things down. And then he ended up taking a clip of it. And I was like, no, I didn't want it to be seen. My handwriting was so bad. But I thought that was funny that he actually enjoyed that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like they talk about how the characters have non-existent jobs like underwater enthusiast, or the villains are always pointing at things, and I know just different stuff like that. Since you're a fan of the show, did that ring true for you?
Yeah, yeah, that was very accurate for both of those reasons. Yeah, there's some crazy job descriptions sometimes, but it's all good entertainment.
Yeah.
It was neat to see it from the perspective of the producers twisting things up and really getting involved in the storyline and the drama of it.
One thing I really liked about this movie is that the friendship between Haley and Bree was almost more important to the story than the romantic relationships. And you don't typically see that in these movies. I thought you two had really nice chemistry as friends, and that friendship was very important to both of you. And the whole reason that she does the show is for you, and you in a way as well, because you want to showcase her designs. But I don't know, I really like that element.
Wow. I love that you brought that up. I'm glad that read through, because that was something that stood out to me in reading the script too, was how strong the friendship connection was. And I love that the story wasn't only about a romantic connection. It was also about how strong a friendship can be and like the journey that they go through together side by side.
Yeah.
And
so it's you and Chloe Bridges, and it seemed like you were real friends, so it came across well.
That's good.
The chemistry.
That's great. Oh, Chloe was great. Yeah, we had so much fun. It was really easy. We just kind of let it happen.
And I really liked how you were super bubbly and cute, and she was more the like sarcastic, more like you typically don't see the kind of a little bit more skeptical, edgy characters in a Hallmark movie. So I was enjoying it. And you have two relationships in this movie, which is really fun. I mean, you have three, including friendship, but I just really liked the contrast between the two of you, that you were bubbly and fun and sweet, and she was a little more sarcastic.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little reflective of how we are in real life too, but it was really cool to see that play out as our characters, and like to see the dynamic between us two, and even in dialogue and conversation, and just feeling the vibes of how we would interact. It was really fun. I'm glad that they included characters like that too.
Yeah,
it brought a different element to it for sure.
And so you got to work with Corbin Bleu as the lead in this film. He's the bachelor on the show. And were you totally like, oh my gosh, School Musical? Were you excited?
Okay, so I thought that no, let me rephrase this. I grew up watching High School Musical, and so of course I knew who Corbin Bleu was, and I was so stoked.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, how is this going to be? Like, this is going to be so weird. But immediately when I met him, he's just like the sweetest, most like caring person. Like he just wears his heart on his sleeve. Like everyone he meets, no matter who you are, he's so respectful and so loving. And he just like emits this positive energy that makes you feel safe. So when I met him, it wasn't like, oh my God, it's Corbin Blue. It was like, oh my gosh, he's such a nice guy and I'm so excited to work with him. It was more that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
immediately we just like really hit it off. And his wife, Sasha, is amazing. So I just had so much fun spending time with them and talking with them. And it was just so easy to talk and have conversations. And they were so like humble and gracious and respectful. It was just all around such an amazing experience. And I'm so grateful to have worked with them and met them.
Mhm. Well, I think that you had nice chemistry. I liked both of the couples in this movie. I liked sort of the Scott Michael Foster kind of and Chloe and their dynamic of being a little more edgy and a little more sarcastic. And I thought they worked well. And then I thought that the two of you, of course, as the story goes on and there's conflict, we won't give that away, of course, but then you feel pretty bad for Bree. Like, oh no. Because she's so well-meaning and so sweet. That
I'm glad that read through.
Yeah, no, it totally did. It was good. So, would you go on The Bachelor?
Okay, wait, this is so funny because actually I was asked to be a part of like this last season. No, not this last season, maybe 2 seasons ago. I think it was like earlier last year.
No way.
Yeah. And I almost did, but then at the last second I was like, no, actually they asked me to send a bunch of photos and I forget, a video or something like that. And then I just didn't go through with it. I was like, maybe better not.
You could have lost your whole chance at love.
I know. No, I don't think it's really in my personality to do that. And you know what? I don't think they would want me on the show anyway, because I run from drama as far as I can. Like I will do anything in my power to avoid conflict and confrontation. And that's the last thing they want for the show, because they want the drama and the conflict. So I would not be the best pick for a reality show.
You're not like Vanessa in the movie.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love Carson, by the way, who plays Vanessa. She was actually the sweetest little button you will ever meet. And like, it was just so amazing to see her flip on her Vanessa and then go back to Carson, and her smile just lights up a room. But then she turns into Vanessa and it's like a completely different person. It was really amazing. I was so in awe of her every second.
Yeah, she was funny. She was a good sort of catty woman, with her sort of the clip wars and how she was angling to get into every scene and things like that. Yeah, her alliances. That was funny. That was good. Yeah.
A Regina George of Love for Real.
And they have some pretty big sort of set pieces in this movie where like you are the one scene where you're going golfing. Again, we won't give anything away. And then there's a scene on horseback. What were those like to film?
Okay. The sprinkler scene was really funny. We had some technical difficulties with the golf cart just because we had to stop at a certain spot, and it's hard to gauge the ground and see where your mark is or to stop exactly where we need it to. But for camera, it has to stop at the exact moment. So that took a couple takes. The water was fun. I won't give anything away.
Yeah. But what about working on the horses? I mean, I assume you have stunt doubles and stuff, but still you were on the horses and things. So is that something you've done before?
I kind of grew up riding horses here and there, but I wouldn't say that I'm professional by any means, or I'm not even good. Like I'll just get on a horse at a birthday party or just for fun with my uncles or something like that. So this was so much fun. I love animals so much. And those horses were just the sweetest horses I've ever met. Like they were so well behaved. They listened so well. And I just wanted to sleep in the pasture with them all night. It was so much fun. And that was the first time I actually got to trot or even go into a gallop, because we took some time before filming to get acquainted with the horses and practice riding and things like that. So Corbin and I had a lot of fun with that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really cool. And Corbin was actually afraid of horses.
Oh.
He might get mad that I said that, but maybe not afraid. It just made him anxious.
Hesitant.
But
I
then,
would be the same. So no shame
yeah.
there.
Yeah, but then those horses, like once he met them, he was like, okay, no, this is totally fine, because they were such sweet horses.
Yeah.
And they've been around film sets and stuff like that, so they were very comfortable with the whole everybody around and cameras around and things like that. So it was good. It was fun.
Have you ever done blind yoga before this movie?
No. Didn't even know that existed. And oh my gosh, when I read the script, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I couldn't even balance on one foot with my eyes closed. And yeah, that was a little difficult, but we made it work somehow.
That's good.
Yeah, it ended up working out.
It was convincing. You did a good job.
Thank you.
I enjoyed Karen Molina White in this movie, but she was really fun and brought a lot
She was so fun
to
too.
her role. And she seemed like a hoot.
Oh my gosh, she was. She was so funny. I loved working with her. And even backstage, I mean, she was so sweet. Like backstage, she was just such like a sweet and nice person. And then her role was very like rigid and sassy. And it was another one of those like Carson Vanessa things where it was just like you could see the switch happen, and it was really amazing to witness. And Karen's been in a lot of stuff, so I really look up to her as an actor too. And so that was an honor to work with her as
Life
well.
is happier when I'm not annoyed.
That's such a funny line.
It was good. All right. Well, we have some fun, silly questions that we like to end our interviews off on.
Okay.
So not that the previous questions have not also been silly, but here we go. What is the best ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream.
Very good. What is your favorite color?
I have 3. Aqua, like a turquoise, army green, and lavender.
Okay. Very good. What music are you into?
Oh, I like so many different kinds of music. If you go through my playlist, it's very bipolar. It's all over the place. I have musical theater and jazz and rap and hip hop and pop, and yeah, I would say all of those.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
Polynesian, Frisian.
So we used to say, what is your go-to date night food? But since like nobody's dating these days, we say, what would be your DoorDash order or your whatever they have in Hawaii that's similar, your order in?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think I'd go with sushi just because it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Sushi's good here.
I bet. Yeah. So what would be your go-to date night activity out on the town doing something fun?
Date night activity.
Yeah. Back when we can go to activities on dates.
Honestly, okay, it's really fun to just sit on the beach and play music, or I don't know, bowling. But honestly, just like playing music somewhere in the backyard or like on the beach or something like that, or getting together with friends. I love karaoke, but that's kind of for a bigger number of people. But yeah, those would be
Group
like
date.
my date night ideas. Yeah, group date. We could do that with as little as 4 people and have a blast.
All right. Which is your favorite, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
And beaches or mountains?
Beaches.
Yeah. Would you rather be in a fancy dress or sweats?
Sweats.
I think a lot of us though are like, we're ready to get it, like it's just like being fancy means that you're doing something fun.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean?
true. It's
Like, out of the
associated with
house.
fun things. Yeah, being social.
What is your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Christmas.
Very good. And what is your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie?
Okay, I have to go with romantic movie and say The Notebook.
Ooh. Yeah. You know, they're making a musical of that. Yeah.
What?
It's I just read it today that it's being I'm not sure if it was being workshop or if it's coming. Yeah, there's The Notebook musical.
Oh my gosh, how do I audition?
I'll send you the links.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. What a
Yeah.
genius idea.
Yeah. I think it could be really good because it's got all that melodrama, and that's what you want in a musical.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that
Very
sounds
good.
fun. I want to know who's behind the music for that.
Well, you passed all you answered all the questions. You passed all the tests. Very good.
Perfect. Woo!
Well, thank you so much for talking with us. This was really fun. And I really did enjoy the film. I think the Hallmarkies are really going to like it. And I was skeptical because they've made now like 4 or 5 of these reality dating type movies, and they've all been not great. And so I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And then I watched it. I was like, this is really cute. So I think you
I'm
did a
so
great
glad
job.
you liked it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
thank
really
you.
fun. And so how can people find you on social media, all that fun stuff?
On all of the socials, my @ is Taiana Tully, TaianaTully. Yeah, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram to follow the latest and what I'm up to.
Great. Yeah, well, that on the description section, you should all check that out. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And also make sure you follow the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group and merch store. Take a look at that. And thank you so much, Tiana, for coming. This was a lot of fun. I had a great time getting to meet you. And hopefully we'll get to talk about even future properties coming up.
Yes, hope so. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Bye, everyone.